So the Champions Arena just opened up, so I decided to go in and hit it right away. As you see, I have a team already set, and if you look through, there's actually an option to scroll through your different teams and set all your defenses up, which is what I did from before. So I actually have up a very weak team on defense because I don't think my defense will hold up really against anyone who really wants points. So by dropping my defense to 1 stars and 2 stars with reflect weapons, there is a high chance, well, there is a chance that the enemy could end up killing one of their own tunes off of one of my tunes, and that would limit the number of points that they can actually get. So I'm entering the classic mode right now for this Champions Arena, and there is a variety of different players. So again, a lot of RNG. You saw the first player had only like 500 points, which means their highest team grade is quite low. And then the top player here only has about 2,500 points. So really you're seeing a big span of different teams. And a big part of this span is because for milestones this week, if you had 6 entries, then you got a free Champions ticket. So basically everyone could get that because everyone had 1 free entry into each of the 5 arenas for this week. And then there was also those free, I think 3 tickets or so that people got. So everyone really should have been able to get into this Champions Arena. But all that does is create a big gap, in my opinion, on the different team grades that you can come across and the different number of points that you can acquire, especially with it being endurance mode where you have to, well, basically you have to spend in the other arenas to go far, but in this arena, it's all coming down to how many Champions tickets did you end up earning during the week, which is in direct correlation with how well you finished, as well as how many milestones you made. So for the players who just had the 6 entries, so the 5 free entries, and then used one of their free tickets to get into this Champions Arena, they only have 1 ticket. So the maximum number of points that they can actually score is quite low. The ceiling is very close, in other words, because with only 1 ticket, say they're an S8 team, they might not choose to battle some of these teams that are S9 or S10 that have more points, because there's less likelihood of them winning. In my opinion, I would go for the 4 teams that you think you have the best chance against and ensure that you get the 4 wins with 5 stars, because there's going to be a number of players who don't end up winning all their matches. Now, one of the advantages that I found by starting out in the arena right away, like as it opened, I went right into it, was that a lot of people didn't have a defense team set. I went ahead and set my defense teams up all through the week so that whenever we moved on to a new arena, I had a decent defense already set so that I wouldn't have that many issues moving forward. And, you know, as I learned, I just started to drop my defense down to 1 stars and 2 stars, and I actually found a lot more success in that, which is kind of stupid in my opinion, because it's like I'm not really challenging anyone by my team. I'm just creating more RNG because I have a better chance to reflect 80% of damage back onto people's mega 6 stars. And then here in Champions Arena, all the teams that are set here must have been auto-generated by the computer, because I have not come across one team that is very cohesive. You know, there's a bunch of random tunes that don't really match the leader, and a lot of them end up being like attack tunes instead of support or a medic and so on. So it hasn't been that difficult for me in this Champions Arena. And because of that, I'm actually going to do probably quite well. Now, I do think I would do a lot better if there were more points to be acquired, because you're looking at these different team grades and I see S6 to S7, which means there's a limited number of points that I can actually acquire. In one of my other videos, I ended up facing someone who had like an S11 max team grade, and they gave me off the last multiplier something like 9,000 points, and that was in draft. So that ended up putting me all the way in 2nd place because it was domination mode. I feel like this last Champions Arena when it's endurance mode, and if people don't always know that they are qualified for it and they don't set their defense team right away, by starting out right away, by attacking, as soon as the arena opens, you have an advantage from the sense of you're battling a much weaker team, even though the player has a much higher team grade overall. And having these multiple entries, like at the beginning, before you enter the arena, you have the option of using multiple tickets for a multiplier. And I guess I would really only suggest that if your roster isn't very deep, because I have 3 tickets and I'm going in 3 separate attacks. If I do these 3 attacks in general, I'm going to get 1 additional Champions ticket because I'll hit 20 entries for the week. So by doing it separately, I end up having 3 times 3 tunes worn out, because after every entry, you have 3 tunes that are worn out and you can save 1 of them. So after the first set, so like right here, I have an option of saving my lead, my human shield, or my disarm tune. Now, I find my lead to be the most important at this time because I have a lot of yellow and red tunes that I can use. Meanwhile, I have other human shields that I can sub in, and I have other disarm tunes. And when we're taking a look at some of these teams that I'm fighting, I don't even need a disarm tune because many of them don't have a weapon set. So for me, it made sense to do 3 separate entries without the multiplier because I'm fairly confident that I'm going to win all of my matches, especially with everyone's defense not set up properly. And I have a variety of different tunes that I can sub in order to still make my teams work. So even if Dale, for instance, gets worn out and I can't save him, I can use a character like Javier or Kate. In regards to Piper, that's a damage tune. I can put in my decap Sandy. I had Marlon and Rosie before. I could even use someone like Brian. So just a general yellow or red damage tune. Charlie, another great example. There's just a lot of different options that I have because I've been playing the game for longer than some people. So I have more options, which means my roster won't be hurt as much if I have tunes that are worn out. So if you have a small roster, if it's limited, and you have multiple tickets, the multiplier might be the best idea for you because otherwise your attack teams could be completely crippled. And it's hard to recover sometimes because you will come across some teams that are quite challenging. Like I haven't come across any teams so far with Mia or Negan or Doc Stevens. There's just been no real difficult tunes. And you know what? I consider that both lucky and unlucky because I would like to challenge myself, but at the same time, I want to maximize my points. And although I haven't come across any high scoring point teams, I have won all my matches so far, and that means my point multiplier for this entry keeps increasing. And even in this champions mode, something I think I would like to see is that if you win a match, instead of just having the chance of picking up an arena ticket, like a normal one, I think there should be a drop rate for these champion tickets in the Champions League type of thing or Champions Arena, but only after you win a certain number of matches or something to reward players for playing it smart and safe. Like I've been playing my game here very safe. I haven't been taking many risks, but I have been playing it in a typical fashion. So like most raids, for instance, I will attack with my disarm tune first. I will then attack with my neutral or lead tune. I'll attack with my attack up or defense down, and then finally my damage dealer. Meanwhile, my human shield will shield me so that I don't have to worry about taking unfriendly attacks. And it's just being consistent, really. So like here, I'm thinking about running a disarm tune being Lily, but you'll see me be quite picky when I put my characters in a certain location. I always like my human shield being right beside my leader because then they're on the far left side of my screen at the bottom when we go into a match, which means I don't have to click on them. I can just hit the fast forward button and they will shield at the end. So what I'm doing right now is just identifying the different teams that I want to hit based on how many points they will give me, and identifying the fourth least amount of points, the third, the second, and the most. So because I didn't really want to waste a disarm tune, I decided to put up Cole, who has an active taunt ability. So if I use this active taunt ability, it makes Piper more effective if I chose to attack a tune that was taunted because of her cutthroat ability. But I didn't really see the need for it in this case because, again, most of these tunes and teams are not set up properly. So here, I don't even think they have mods, but they don't have a proper weapon, so even Camilla rushing on my Jesus, that did next to no damage. So I'm really lucking out right here on finding these easy teams to begin with, but I don't know if maybe later on, if I had waited, if there would have been higher teams to face. But then again, it's all RNG based, which I kind of dislike because you have to keep going and going in order to find the average number of points that you should get. Like if one person gets lucky and just ends up getting players who have S10 teams and they can get 4,000 points, and then that multiplies up the higher you go, they could get, like 20,000 points off of one roll. Meanwhile, I might be stuck at, say, 12,000. And that was at no fault of my own. I won all my matches and could have won against stronger players. But because of the roll of the dice there, the maximum number of points, like in this one, was just over 5,000 for me. So I'm now out of champion tickets, but you have to use them up because they don't carry over to the next week. So I guess that makes sense. But I was also kind of curious as to if I had saved my champions ticket in my inbox, could I have used it next week? So again, I'm given the option to save someone. And again, I save Michelle because I have other tunes that I'm able to sub in for those other positions. And as you see, I'm currently in first. I don't expect that to last long, especially when I see you can still enter the Champions Arena for 250 coins. So from my understanding, it seems like you need a Champions ticket in order to unlock this arena, but you don't need to use specifically champion tickets in order to keep going. To be honest, I really don't like this concept. You got into the arena, and I think it should be skill-based and not about how much money you have. It wasn't very hard in order to get into this arena because, as I mentioned before, you had 5 free entries in the week and we were given free additional tickets. And as you see, I had enough tickets just drop for me that I was able to accumulate 16 now because they were dropping whenever I won a match. Well, not every time, but enough times. And I had, those 3 tickets or whatever credited to my account. And now I have 16 tickets next week that I'm not going to use on endurance mode because there is little to no point in me trying to compete against the people who spend a bunch of money on this game. I don't see a reasoning for that, but in domination mode, I have a chance because I just need a little bit of luck with RNG, and I'd rather, play with luck rather than play against someone's wallet. So thank you everyone for watching and listening to my video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Champions Arena, as well as arenas in general, because now we've had the full week of playing them, and I'd like to hear your likes and dislikes about it. I would also like to hear some ideas on how the arena could get better so that people would get more enjoyment out of it.